Hi there, boys and girls. Welcome to your Max Podcast Now. Max Stories points out a very interesting tidbit of information. Jack Dongara, researcher at Oak Ridge National Laboratory, conducted a study to determine the position of the iPad in the list of the world's 500 fastest computers in history. Using the LinPack computing benchmark, quote, a linear algebra test that measures the mathematical capabilities of computers, end quote, he came to the conclusion that the iPad 2 would be the perfect rival for the 4-processor version of the Cray 2 supercomputer, an 8-processor machine that was the world's fastest computer in 1985. To date, the researchers have run the test on only one of the iPad's microprocessor's 2 processing cores. When they finish their project, though, Dr. Dongara estimates that the iPad 2 will have a LinPack benchmark of between 1.5 and 1.65 gigaflops. That's billions of floating point or mathematical operations per second. That would have ensured that the iPad could have stayed on the list of the world's fastest supercomputers through 1994. Now look at your iPad. Last Friday, TechCrunch posted about negotiations between Apple and voice recognition company Nuance. While these talks have been going on for months, sources told us that it wasn't yet entirely clear what the outcome would be, either a broad strategic partnership or less likely an acquisition. Things are looking a bit more clear now. In digging into the information about the relationship between the two companies, TechCrunch has heard that Apple might actually already be using Nuance technology in their new, but yet to be officially opened, massive data center in North Carolina. Since then, we've gotten multiple independent confirmations that this is indeed the case, and yes, this is said to be the keystone of a partnership that Apple is likely to announce with Nuance at WWDC next month. More specifically, TechCrunch is hearing that Apple is running Nuance software and possibly some of their hardware in this new data center. Why? A few reasons. First, Apple will be able to process this voice information for iOS users faster. Second, it will prevent this data from going through third-party servers. And third, by running it on their own stack, Apple can build on top of the technology and improve upon it as they see fit. All of this plays in nicely with their report that Siri would be a big part of the upcoming iOS 5 software. In order to work, Siri requires Nuance. When Apple bought Siri last year, they immediately began negotiations with Nuance to ensure that Siri was able to keep running. But it now appears that after months of tense negotiations, the two companies have decided that it was best to take the relationship a step farther. And now a story about a royal fanboy. The Queen of England has apparently ordered her staff to buy her an iPad after the newly married Prince Will and his brother Prince Harry showed off theirs to her on a recent gathering at Buckingham Palace, Max Stories has learned. Princes, the Queen's grandsons, gave her a demo of how the iPad worked, which led her to be impressed. She was purportedly taken with how easy it was to use, the large screen, and how light it was. Apparently, the Queen is fairly tech-savvy for an 85-year-old woman. A Palace insider notes that, quote, the Queen has a mobile phone as well as all the iPods, so an iPad is the logical progression. She thinks it'll be great to keep her entertained on all the long trips she has to make, end quote. The same royal insider says that the princes think her reaction is hilarious, but also love the fact that their grand wants an iPad and thinks she's really cool. The iPad won't be the first Apple product that the Queen owns either. She previously bought a 169-pound silver iPod in 2005 and was given a new iPod by Barack Obama in 2009, which was loaded up with happy snaps from the Queen's U.S. visit in 2008. Today, we delve deeply into the American judicial system. Cheney, Washington. A man has been cleared of a theft charge after a bemused jury in Washington state found him not guilty of stealing a 99-cent hot dog. John Richardson got the sausage from the self-serve counter of a Cheney, Washington grocery store in December. He ate it while he shopped, but forgot to include it when he paid for his groceries. Store managers confronted Richardson and called police. It took jurors about 5 minutes to reach their verdict in the February trial. Juror Patrick Reeves tells the Spokesman Review someone would have to be an idiot not to realize Richardson simply forgot to pay. Prosecutor Julie McKay didn't buy that. She says Richardson refused a deal to pay a $200 civil penalty and have the charge dropped. Oh. Whoa. They wouldn't stand for this on Law and Order. Oh. Sorry for losing my temper there, boys and girls, but sometimes I just don't think they have the due respect for sausages in the Magic Apple Kingdom that they're due. Oh, just... What the hell did that just mean? All right, well, that's it for today. I've got nothing else. You want to add something? If not, well, then we'll see you again tomorrow. And remember, download, double-click, and drop out, boys and girls.